bracket again because remember, all 8 teams are now seeded. Of course, the North Carolina Courage, they were a perfect 4-0 in preliminary play, setting themselves as the number 1 seed. Who would have thought it? Their arch rival, Portland, lost to the Courage, then 3 ties. They're the 8 seed. This is going to be a tough game. But, Anna, to put it plain and simple, everybody looking toward July 22nd. That's where you want to be.
Right, exactly. And we have this Houston Dash and Utah Royals game later on today. But like you said, wasn't expecting the Portland Thorns this early. I really wasn't expecting the tournament that they've had already. But yes, hopefully we can get it done today so we can be back here on Wednesday afternoon.
Coming up on this pregame show, we'll have the iconic trivia. We'll have the Continental Coaches Corner with Paul Riley, where he'll unleash the starting lineup and hold nothing back. We always love that. And we'll also have highlights of that first matchup to open in front of nearly 600,000 on CBS. Having said that, let's go to the highlights of that opening win. 600,000 people watched this game on CBS. Anna Whitty, special tribute, Black Lives Matter before the game, and then they were off and running. Took a little time. They were a little rusty, as you remember. Took a little while to get some goals, but what a great matchup.
This was a great game to have on TV for everyone to see as well. This is a known rivalry in the league. Lynn Williams got off early. She just went to town on their back line. Had a lot of opportunities for them on goal. Didn't really see them convert until the second half. But yeah, a lot of opportunities on goal. Steph LeBay came up big time in several big saves of the game. But Lindsey Horan, she's the girl to watch for today's game for sure.
Yeah, 0-0. They had the hydration break. It was an early game. Remember, it's 2 hours behind, 10:30. Lynn Williams, arguably one of the best players. I feel like there's 5 MVP candidates, and of course, with a little bias, I feel like all 5 play for the Courage, and Lynn Williams would be one of them. Abby Erceg would be one of them. Jaylene Daniels would be one of them. And I believe everybody here on the secret virtual watch party presented by Google Meet would also agree. You talk about Denise O'Sullivan. She could be one of them. I mean, there's 5 big-time I mean, everybody on the Courage has been incredible, but I feel like those 5 might be the best in the tournament so far. Bixby was there. It'll be a different goalkeeper today. We'll get to that later, but you can touch on it now, Anna.
Yeah, Bixby suffered a hip injury reportedly, so she will not be in the game. But my girl, Brett Eckerstrom, she is in goal, a fellow Penn Stater for the Thorns today. Hey, and who would have thought we also have their goalkeeper coach on the bench? We're seeing it all in this NWSL Challenge Cup, but I'm totally here for it. But Bixby had a great tournament for them, and she really proved what she can do for them on the field. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make 2 big saves for them. Haley Mace had an awesome, outstanding game. She just came into that game and really, I think in her first 1 or 2 minutes on the field, she had that awesome assist. Great cross right on the dot. Debinho was able to head it in there for them. Just a great performance by the Courage and by the Thorns. But like you said earlier, they both played a few games. They kind of figured out what works for them. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a different game. We'll get into it later. But Portland, they've suffered some big injuries as well. So we'll see what they put on the table.
As you see the highlights of that first game, give Portland credit for answering. LeBay couldn't handle it, and it went in. Abby Erceg was there. And really, ever since that moment, Abby Erceg, another one of those 5 that could be MVP. Debinho is one of the 5 as well. She's just been outstanding. So it's 1-1, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what's going on here? This is not the North Carolina Courage that we remember last year from the semifinals and the finals and winning back-to-back shields and back-to-back championships. But somehow a Paul Riley coach team is able to figure things out, and it's 1-1, not a ton of time left. And lo and behold, Sam Mewis, who even admitted didn't have a great game, puts it on a dime. Lynn Williams, one of those 5 that could be MVP with the game winner.
She found herself completely by herself in the box. I don't know how the Thorns let that happen. She's single-handedly the most important player in the attack for the Courage during this game. I don't know how they left her in there by herself, but Sam Mewis put that ball on a dime. She just had to redirect it. She didn't have to put too much on it. I mean, yeah, they had us holding our breath towards the end of the game. I feel like they did a little bit in this Challenge Cup, but hey, that's a part of just playing and just only 4 games and not really been playing together for a long time because of the state of the world. But yes, hopefully we don't see such a close game today, but another Lynn Williams performance like we had in the last game would be great.
Yeah, and the run that Mewis made before she made that pass was incredible. And Paul Riley talked about that, the point that maybe she didn't do a whole lot, but when they needed a big moment from Sam Mewis, she was able to deliver it. Listen, as you've been watching this, we start the show with the iconic hype video. I love it. I get excited every single time. We've also been doing iconic trivia. Anna Whitty, that's all you. Take it away.
Okay, Courage fans, get ready. We have 3 questions for you today. Okay, number 1, who led the Courage in assists during the 2018 season? A, was it Jess McDonald? B, was it Denise O'Sullivan? Or C, was it McCall Zerboni? Question number 2, which returning North Carolina Courage player has already recorded more total minutes in the NWSL Challenge Cup than all throughout the 2019 NWSL season? A, was it Meredith Speck? B, was it Addison Merrick? Or C, was it Lauren Millay? And then your last question, which Courage player was awarded both ACC Offensive Player of the Year award and ACC Defensive Player of the Year award in back-to-back years? A, was it Crystal Dunn? B, was it Ryan Williams? Or C, was it Addison Merrick? And you can go to nccourage.fanzone.com to answer those questions.
All right, great job. And now we've got another segment, Anna, that you get to set up. I'm looking forward to the visit that I had with Paul Riley, but I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, well, now we all know what to expect in these pregame shows. We are honored to have Paul Riley. He talks about burning the boats and just what it may look like to have to win 7 games in this NWSL Challenge Cup. Dean Linke sat down with him before the game.
Time now for the Continental Tire Coaches Corner, my favorite part of the Aetna pregame show because I get to spend 5 minutes with the great Paul Riley. I call him the greatest women's pro coach in the world. And here we go, Paul Riley. We still want to burn the boats, and now it's win or go home time. So the mentality might change just a little bit. Are you guys ready for Portland?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a little switch gone off the last few days in practice, and I feel like they're a little bit more focused, a little bit more intense, a little bit sharper in practice, and did a little bit more than we normally do day before a game, just because they look that much bite to them today. So I feel like we're ready to go, and it's knockout time, and we played 14 knockout games the last 4 years, so we like the knockout games. I think it brings the best out of top players, and hopefully we've saved our best performance for this one because we haven't played super well yet. We've been kind of simmering and getting results and stuff. I'd like to see the performance improve a little bit, and we've talked about the performance a lot the last 3 or 4 days to make sure that this would be our best performance of the whole tournament so far. And like you said, it's shut up or get it done now. We got to get it done, and I think the team's ready to go. I think we've managed the players pretty well, and I think people like Crystal and Dabinia and Lenny have had good rest over the last week or so, getting ready for this one. And obviously it's a big game against a tough opponent. And when you say 8 seed against 1 seed, you wouldn't have thought it'd be Portland against North Carolina, but it is, and it's a huge rivalry. It's like the only derby game, I think, in the entire league. It feels like we live next door to each other when we're probably 2,000 miles away from each other. But both teams, I'm sure, will be raring to go, put their best foot forward, and that's what we're looking forward to.
Health-wise, Paul Riley, everybody feeling okay? Any nicks and knocks?
No, we're good. Steph's still a little bit under the weather, LeBay, but other than that, everybody's perfectly healthy, touch wood, and it's been good for us, to be honest with you. We've been able to manage players, 65 minutes here and there for Crystal. We took Sam off. Sam played 45 in one game, came off at 60 in the other. So we've been able to manage some of the big guns and keeping them prepped. And obviously Abby Erzig and Jaylene Hinkle have had to go the distance in most games, and they've been terrific so far. Kiwi's probably the best defender in the tournament. Lynn Williams so far has been the best attacking piece in the tournament. So we're pretty privileged and happy where we sit right now. And we'll see what happens tomorrow when the ball gets kicked. It's a morning kickoff, so it's a little bit different from what we used to and what we enjoy probably. But we'll be able to run with the best of them. And we've trained in heat. We've trained for these type of conditions all the time over the last few years, this group. And I feel like they always just pick up a little notch when it comes to the knockout time, and I'm hoping they will tomorrow.
Looking deeper at Portland's game, and I feel like you're the ultimate coach making sure all the players are in the right position. I got to be honest, from a broadcaster's point of view, if there's one player that scares me, no matter who's around her, it's Lindsey Horan, because I always feel like she can pop out of nowhere. Do you game plan differently because of Lindsey Horan?
Yeah, I mean, Lindsey Ann's special, you know, and teams have special players. You have to keep an eye on them. And we've talked about Lindsey a lot through the scout, through the last 48 hours, and in terms of trying to locate her and figure out where she is on the weak side. And I think she's more dangerous away from the ball than she is when she's got the ball, you know. But she's terrific on the ball as well, and good leader too, I think. But set pieces, if there's one major issue that we've been working on that we need to put right, is just making sure on set pieces they don't get a sniff. In the first game against them, we gave them too many set pieces, too many silly fouls, and then we didn't take care of business in a penalty box. You know, we got lucky a couple of times, so want to make sure that's sealed up. And obviously, when you talk about their set pieces, you have to talk about Haran. She gets on the end of everything. She's like Julie for the national team, you know. So we have to watch Haran, and Sinclair as well. Obviously, she scored a ton of goals and she causes a lot of problems. But certainly, Haran's the one for us. If we keep her quiet, keep her defending, keep her worrying about, you know, Crystal and Dabinia and Sully and Sam, then we'll get the benefit of that. But if we back off and we don't keep good possession, then she'll get in the game and she's dangerous. And you know, the last, I think, 2 years, she's really developed the game and become one of the best players in the world. And yeah, we must keep her quiet tomorrow. Keep her out of the penalty box. The more we see her defending, the better I'll be. The more peace I'll have in my heart.
Paul, as you know, the big unveil only stays here, and it's unveiled right here on the Aetna pregame show. The starting lineup tomorrow. Who you picking? Who you going with, and why?
Yeah, Kate Rowland, I think a couple of reasons. Steph's not 100%, and also Kate's had 2 clean sheets. She looks fabulous. She looks comfortable. Great on the build for us, and I think the build's going to be an important part of the game tomorrow on the high pressure from them. And then the other side of it for Kate is she's great on crosses. And I think we're going to need some size in that 6-yard box and then the 18-yard box to come out and grab some crosses. So that's their best shot of winning, is to pump as many crosses into our box as they can. So Kate's probably the better one. Our crosses at the 3 goalkeepers. So that's our thought process there. In the back, we've gone with the same back line. Addie Merrick, Abby Delcamper, Abby Erzig, and Jaylene Daniels. Jaylene's been out of this world so far at left back, and we've been able to hurt teams down that left side. I'm hoping we can again. I think it's definitely an area of the field where we've had some success, and we can have success in this game. Abby Erzig's been like the Rock of Gibraltar in there. She's been amazing. Abby Dalcamp has come back to a really good game. The last game, I thought, both defensively and from a build perspective. There's no better centre back in the world at building. And then Addison Merrick, you know, she's a super quick learning experience for her over the last couple of weeks, but I feel comfortable. She seems to be settling in nicely. She's very good defensively. Haran will be on her side, probably running from deep. I think they'll try and push us to her side a lot. So, you know, I think it's important that, you know, she gets another start and just starts to build her game. I think she'll be unbelievable next year for this experience. So we'll go with her. In the midfield, we'll go with the regular box, Sam and Sully in the 2 6s, Dabinia and Crystal in the 2 10s. And Sam and Sully have been excellent. Sam's starting to really play well. I think first couple of games she was struggling a little bit. Now she's got to the top part of her game. And Sullivan, I think she's had 90% completion. I think only the centre backs in this tournament have done that so far. So Sully's our anchor. Sam's gonna, you know, we've been talking to Sam a lot about getting into the attacking third of the field, making things happen, which she has done the last 2 games. So I'm excited again for Sam. 2 10s have been brilliant. Crystal, you can see, starting to warm up. Got a goal last time. She's getting close to full fitness. She'll be able to go 90 from here on in. So we're happy with that. We've managed it through getting her fit to play 90. So I think it's just a matter of time where she really starts to turn it on. And Dabina's been knockout. I mean, she's been knockout for us so far. And even in practice today, honestly, breathtaking in practice today for 20 minutes. They just toyed with the opposition, and opposition was ourselves, of course. But yeah, they've been really good. And then up front, we've got Lynn Williams, who's the best attacking piece in the tournament for me, and Kristen Hamilton, who I thought had a really good game last game, went 90 the last time. We think Jess is just a little bit off pace yet. I still think she's going to have to come off the bench for this one, but she looks sharp, much better than she did 2 weeks ago, better than she did last week. So I think Kristen Hamilton knows what we expect, knows our tactics, knows how to play with that midfield too, with the 2 10s and the fullback. So, and Hammy's due a goal. You got to be honest, at some point the forwards due a goal. I think Hamilton's due a goal, and we got a strong bench. Obviously, Jess Max on the bench, Mace's on the bench, Lauren Millet, who's had a great tournament, on the bench, Mary Speck's on the bench, Kyra Cara's on the bench, Brian Williams, who's done well when she played, on the bench, Kaylee Kurt, who came in's done well, is on the bench. So, we've got we've got some good credentials on the bench if needed. And, you know, the heat of the morning tomorrow, we might need the players. And, you know, we've taken penalties for the last 2.5 months in preparation for penalties. Hopefully we don't have to go there, but we started a couple of months ago with this, so it's not something we've just done since we arrived here. So we're comfortable with the ones that we've got ready to take them. And yeah, you might see a surprising goal come penalty kick time. We'll see what happens, you know.
You know, you just stole my next question, because I was never going to ask you, Paul Riley. I promise. I don't want to know who is going to take the penalty kicks. That's for you and only you to know. But I did want to know mentally how the team has prepared, and you kind of answered the question, but add a little bit more to that.
Yeah, we've taken penalties, like I said, since the day we arrived in preseason. We've taken penalties. Just something we did last year for 3 months prior to the playoffs. We took penalties every single day for 3 months going into the playoffs in the NWSL. I think it's something of a comfortability for us. That's what we do, and it takes a few minutes at the end of every practice. And, you know, obviously you can't replicate the pressure of the moment, but we can replicate. We go to the midfield, we do it correctly, you know, one after one. And, you know, our goalkeepers know where we're going, right? So it has to be even better, the actual finish. And I think our players have learnt over probably the last 2 years that, you know, they have to change the regular penalty kick where they go. They have to change a lot of different things. And I think a lot of them have got used to doing different things on penalties, whereas before I think they always, that's my corner. I got to go in my corner. If I don't go in my corner, I'm going to miss. And now I think they look at it a little bit different. I think they look at it a little bit different way. And I'm excited for that. They can go either side. They can go high. They can go low. And because they've taken so many, that they feel comfortable. Does that mean they score? I don't know about that. But, you know, you got to save a couple too. And that's an important ingredient too. And, yeah, we've been in these big moments. We've played in these big moments. So my expectation is that usually in the big day, we're usually a notch above when we are in the regular season. And I'm hoping that happens again. We were terrific in the playoffs last year against Seattle and against Chicago in the final. So I'm hoping for the same kind of response from the group. They've been here. They've done a lot of these type of games. And I feel like these are the games that make these players better. The knockout stage where everything's on the line and you've got to give everything. And you can't. It's not just about managing the game. It's about taking the game to the opposition. And we'll take the game to them tomorrow. And, you know, we've only scored one first half goal, which is a disappointing stat for me. So I think an early goal for us, we're going after an early goal. We need an early goal. I think that would bring them out and make them play a bit and open them up a little bit. And that's the plan for us, is try and open them up early and get at them. And I think we're focused and ready. So fingers crossed, hope the fans enjoy it.
All right, we'll consider that the key then, so I won't bother with that question. Is we recorded this the night before because it's an early morning game. We want you to concentrate on what you do best, and that is leading the North Carolina Courage. Another thing that you do really well is shout outs to the fans. As we end here getting ready for Portland, what is your message to the fans, Paul?
Yeah, listen, the fans have been fantastic for us, and went to the coffee truck again, and it was from the fans again today. So they've really done an amazing job. But I know they're all watching back there, and I just realized we don't have fans just in North Carolina. When you see who's watching the games from Western New York to Long Island, to Texas, to California, it's a big brand. You know, it's not just North Carolina. So we appreciate all the fans all over the country. There's a lot of people that love us to lose, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, they love the Yankees when they lose. So we feel like that we're carrying that extra burden of pressure, that the expectation is to win. At this point, we have to win 7 straight, it really is a very, very difficult thing to do. And I don't think anyone's won 7 straight in a couple of years since we did it when we won the championship 2 years ago. Not an easy feat. So we got a little bit more pressure on us. We like that pressure. But the fans have been amazing. We just want us to support us tomorrow. We're going to need every single one of you. It's 12:30. As my father used to say, it's Poets' Day. Piss off early tomorrow, Saturday. So that'll be tomorrow. And, you know, they'll get an early start from work, get out at 12 o'clock, have lunch, make it a liquid lunch, watch the game, and have some fun.
Hey, listen, even the folks at Continental Tire have told me to tell you, Paul Riley, thanks for making time every pregame show to be on the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Appreciate it, Paul.
Thanks, Dean. We love everybody. Stay safe.
Paul Riley, it really is an honor because not only is he a great coach, he just lets it all out there, Anna. He tells you everything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate how he walks through the entire lineup, what he expects from each player, and even what he expects from his bench in today's game. His keys to the game are exactly what I was going to say. They just need to build off of their game against Sky Blue. I thought they played fantastic. They got a goal early. They had great possession. just play each other's feet, play at the tempo of your game, not the Thorns game. And I think that is how they'll win this match for sure.
Yeah, well said. He said his biggest key was scoring a goal early, a goal in the first half. You mentioned the starting lineup. It's presented by Bojangles. We'll pop it up. Caitlin Rowland, 2 clean sheets. She stays in there. And, of course, on the road with Continental Tire, we got to talk to Addison Merrick this week.
We did. And, hey, this lineup is exactly what – I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. They play so well together. They know each other so well at this point. I think some of these players got a break in the last match, which is what they needed to play well in this game. Kristen Hamilton had a great performance against Sky Blue. I think her best of the tournament. Her and Lynn Williams will be great against their Portland defense that's seen a lot of injuries in this tournament. And they played them really well in the last game. They attacked them really well in the last game. So I think this lineup is great. Yeah, again, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Paul Riley predicting a goal for Kristen Hamilton and also saying Crystal Dunn is now 90 minutes fit. He also did say that Jessica McDonald will probably feature in the second half along with an amazing bench that has been key to the North Carolina Courage winning those first 4 games. All right, Portland released their lineup late. You've already talked about the fact that there's a new goalkeeper that you know really well. Lindsey Horan is also in that starting lineup. She scares me. Boy, does she scare me. Break down the Portland lineup real quick.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good lineup for them. Megan Klingenberg is playing. They didn't really say specifically where, but I think Kelly Hubley, she's going to be playing in the back of them as well. I think she's had a great tournament. She hadn't really played in past seasons, but she's proven she can play. Emily Mings is a great center back from them. She's a great leader for this team. Again, this is kind of one of her first big games that she's playing in as well. Their center midfield has looked exactly the same. They have Rocky Rodriguez, Lindsey Horan, and Angela Salem are just a great group that play really well together. Again, I think the competition is going to be in the middle of the field between our midfield and their midfield is just on fire. Christine Sinclair is up top with Tyler Lucy and Morgan Weaver. Morgan Weaver is the forward out of Washington State. She was drafted really early in this last draft. She's great 1v1. They're going to need to slow her down. But going off what you said with Lindsey Horan, I think this team just needs to make sure that she doesn't receive the ball too high. And Rocky loves to play those balls in behind other defenses into Lindsey Horan. If they can shut that down and make sure Rocky doesn't get too fancy or creative with the ball, I think they'll be successful against their attack. So a good lineup. I know there's a few injuries. I know Lindsey Horan is having some reportedly left hip issues. So we'll see what she looks like today. But I think it should be a good matchup between these two teams.
Well, you mentioned the matchup. Let's take a look at the Coastal Credit Union matchup. And they've played 11 matches. And keep in mind that in 2017 and 18, they played in the NWSL championship game. The Thorns won in 17. The Courage won in 18. I thought it was going to be tighter. But once again, the North Carolina Courage have been fairly dominant in this matchup.
Yeah, 21 goals, 8 goals. Lynn Williams has had 7 of those goals. So a third of their goals is from Lynn Williams. Even just looking at this tournament itself, the Courage have had 7 goals and the Thorns have only found 2 goals. So I think, yeah, this is kind of wild. I wasn't really expecting this, but it just proves that the Courage are able to finish, and it looks like the Thorns struggle to find the back of the net a little bit.
That's your Coastal Credit Union head-to-head matchup. Great job breaking that down as we're here on the AETNA Courage pregame show. Speaking of AETNA, let's check the health status of the North Carolina Courage. Of course, Merritt Mathias, it was great to spend time with her as she's so anxious to get back on the field, recovering from that ACL. Allie Watt got in that first game, ironically, against Portland, didn't play very long, tore her ACL. She stayed with the team, but other than that, everybody's ready.
Yeah, that's a great positive for the Courage as well. I mean, they're so dominant, not only like on the field, but just they stay healthy. They know how to keep themselves healthy. So I'm sad that Allie Watt doesn't get to play again for them, but yeah, I'm glad everybody else is doing well.
Yeah, looking forward to see Jessica McDonald perhaps also get a goal. It'd be nice if Hamilton got one as a starter and McDonald maybe gets one off the bench. All right, Time to take a look at that bracket one more time as we are getting so close to heading over to CBS All Access, 12:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Utah time. Of course, the winner of the Courage Portland game will play the winner of Houston and Utah on July 22nd.
Yes. So, I think another key that I forgot to throw in there that I just noticed, they have 13 corners against Portland. So if they can convert on some of those corners and find goals that way, they'll find themselves in that semifinal game. The Dash and Utah Royals game, I don't know. That's going to be a tricky game. The Dash have played really well in this tournament, but both of them have been a little bit inconsistent in their play. But you can catch that game at 10 o'clock tonight, so you can see who potentially the Courage could be playing on the 22nd.
All right, so just to review again, I feel like there's 5 MVP candidates for the NWSL Challenge Cup. I feel like they all play for the North Carolina Courage. Abby Erceg could win it all day. Jaylene Daniels could win it all day. Denise O'Sullivan could win it all day. Dabinia could win it all day. And Lynn Williams could win it all day. And I don't think that is out of bounds. I feel like all 5 of them have been amazing.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think Abby Erceg is there at the top for me. For a center back to step up the way that she has, even get a lone goal in a game is huge. Jaylene Daniels, I agree with that one. She's just been outstanding out wide, and even in the attack as an outside left back, getting in the attack as much as she has been extremely impressive. She's clearly 90 minutes fit as well. I think the Courage will take home any and all of the MVP trophies from this cup.
All right, that is the AETNA Courage pregame show. We will be with you right after the game for the Charles and Covard postgame show. A lot of people to thank. Let me thank him quickly. Jorge Acuna, the VP of Broadcasting, our main man, the youngster, Colin Thrash, for pulling all of the triggers today. We want to thank Megan and Bobby out in Utah. They do such an amazing job. The owner of the team, Steve Malik, Kurt Johnson, Pete Chandra, Kyle, and Santiago in marketing. Of course, my great co-host, Anna Whitty. Anna, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, and I'm Dean Linke. Hope to see you after the game saying my favorite thing. How about the North Carolina Courage? Enjoy the game on CBS All Access.
Is there, cuts it back.